Chancellor of the Free World. That's Time magazine's new name for Angela Merkel after it decided to name her Person of the Year. They say throughout the Greek debt crisis, the influx of refugees into Europe and the standoff in Ukraine, the German leader has been an indispensable player. And although she's been in power for nearly a decade, it's now that her time has come.
Well, I think this was really the year where her talents shone. I mean, she started off dealing with the euro crisis and really preventing the dissolution, I think, of the European Monetary Union. That was incredibly important, and yet it's been overshadowed by the events of the last half year where, faced with an enormous crisis in the number of refugees coming to Europe and coming to Germany, really, she decided, quite unusually for her, to really open the doors, to really say, yes, please come, accept them. And I think that kind of moral, far-sighted leadership is why we chose her.
The journalists here at Time started the process of winnowing down the nominations from correspondents and reporters months ago. Mrs. Merkel is the first woman to win their top accolade for 29 years. Experts agree she deserves it.
She's the most astute politician in Europe. She's often sort of criticized because she's more tactical than strategic. In other words, she sort of understands the pulse of her nation, and for basically over, I guess it's 10 years, has basically pushed Germany forward by kind of understanding how far the people can go.
Angela Merkel may have made the top spot, but the magazine's choices for numbers 2 and 3 have been a little more controversial. Coming in second was the leader of the so-called Islamic State group, and at third, Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump. The magazine stresses, though, that neither position is an award per se, simply a recognition of how both have changed the course of the news throughout 2015.
But outside Time's offices, there's a mixed response from New Yorkers to the magazine's choices for the top 3 spots.
They're terrorists, and I don't get how a terrorist could be nominated as Person of the Year.
That's really horrifying. I don't know who picked these people, but they're not my cup of tea.
I think she's doing a really good job in Germany right now. I really do. I hate that U.S. and Germany relations are kind of strained at the moment because of the spying stuff, but I think she's got a good head on her shoulders.
I don't know if she deserves to be Person of the Year. Yes, she's accepting a lot of immigrants into her country, but at the same time, it could potentially be ruining the German culture.
Of course I'll talk about ISIS. But today what we're talking about is a community in which half of the people don't have jobs.
And meanwhile, the readers of Time have chosen a very different person to top their separate poll, Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders. By this time next year, we'll know whether he, Mr. Trump, or one of their rivals will be heading to the White House and potentially to grace the 2016 Person of the Year cover. Lorna Shaddick, New York.